Hey everybody, so I'm going to start this video out by answering the question, how accurate is the Atlanta Fed GDP nowcast? Well, you know what? In my opinion, I believe it's highly inaccurate. Now, all these YouTubers, they're telling you, you know what? Based off the Atlanta Fed GDP nowcast, we are in a recession. And they're just all over the board on this. Basically every single YouTuber is holding hands, they're in a circle, they're telling you that we're in a recession based off this information. But you know what? I don't know if they're just uninformed or if they truly believe that this information is correct. But I am going to show you guys a different side of the story that shows just how wildly inaccurate this information is. So just starting off, we are at the atlantafed.org. And right here, they give us this little chart. Now, last Friday, they put out this information that basically spooked the hell out of the markets. So before this, we were above zero. So they were forecasting above zero GDP. And then all of a sudden, last week, we went from, close to being around 1% to negative 2.1%. Now, you can imagine just how scared this made a lot of people. But, you got to take it with a grain of salt. These guys are constantly wrong. And I'm going to show you that information right here. So they actually give us this nice little spreadsheet. And where you can actually find the spreadsheet is right here. So as you guys can see, it says including underlying source data, forecasts, and model parameters are available as a separate spreadsheet. So what I already did was I clicked this little hyperlink. It opened up this nice little spreadsheet right here. And then now I got this nice little archive of information. So I'm going to show you guys what this looked like before I actually made all these edits. So we're going to do unhide. Now this information literally goes on for a while, as you guys can see. But we don't need a lot of this information. So, they got this information like PCE goods, PCE services. They're using all of this data to calculate their GDP nowcast. So to me, I'm not interested in any of this. So we're going to go ahead and select all of these columns here. And what we're interested in is the GDP nowcast. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to right click, I'm going to do hide. I'm also not even interested in these guys as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this as well. So what I am interested in is the GDP nowcast, the advance estimate from the BEA, the publication date of the advance estimate, and the days until advance estimate. And you know what? I'm not really interested in this information either. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that as well. Now, let's just scroll down to the bottom, starting with the last one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to highlight every single row that has this 1. So every single time we have this 1 value right here, it's basically denoting a new quarter. So as you guys can see, this information cycle. So every single time we get this 1 going into 90, it's representing a new quarter. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight a few of these, which I already did. So I'm just kind of showing you guys, we're going to go through, we're going to highlight every single one of these. Now I didn't highlight every single one of them. I just highlighted enough to show you guys some sort of trend. So now we're going to go all the way back to the start. And we're going to see that at this point in time, the GDP nowcast was saying that we were going to get 0.4 GDP. Now, not too long ago, we actually got the final GDP print for Q1. Now, at the time, the advanced estimate from BEA was saying negative 1.4. So we're going to go to investing.com. And the advanced estimate is actually the first preliminary print of the quarter. So this first preliminary print said negative 1.4% was what we came in at. And that's what they have on the GDP nowcast right here. So that's this right here, this information right there, the advanced estimate from BEA, that is the first preliminary print. Oops, lost my place here. Right back there, as you guys can see, negative 1.4. So what did we actually come in as? We came in as negative 1.6%. And I'm going to show you guys that as well. That's the final print right here. So right off the bat, we're comparing 0.4 to negative 1.6%. So basically they were saying, hey, positive, but we came in negative. Now that, to me, is very material. That is not something that you can just blow off. Like, oh, you know what? They make mistakes too. No, that's very material. So this information right here, it's already showing some pretty big inaccuracy. Now, if we're going off recency bias, we're not really going to want to trust this after they made this huge miss right there. So let's just go back. Let's look at a little bit more data, see how accurate this really is. So now we have this next point right here. So at this point in time, the advanced estimate from BEA was saying 6.9%. So we can go check that again. So 6.9% was that preliminary print, which we got right here. It just so happened that the final print was exactly as the initial print, which is 6.9%. So here the actual came in as 6.9%. And we're going to write that down right there. Now you can see that, the discrepancy wasn't as big this time, 0.4 difference. So we're going to go to the next data point. So here, the advanced estimate from BEA was calling for 2, and the GDP nowcast said 0.2. So let's just look at that next data point. So right here we can see that 2, and we actually ended at 2.3%. So let's write that down right there, 2.3%. GDP nowcast said 0.2. Look how highly inaccurate that is. That is 2.1%. That's pretty darn inaccurate, you guys. Like, already, I wouldn't trust this at all. Like, to me, it's just noise. But you know what? If I need to prove my point further, I can. I mean, we're going to look at more data points. So right here, GDP nowcast is calling for 6.4%. The advanced estimate from BEA was 6.5. So you guys can see that 6.5. We came in at 6.7. Let's go ahead and write that down, 6.7%. And that's a 0.3% difference. So not as bad right there. Not as bad. Right here, GDP nowcast called for 7.9. Advanced estimate from BEA said 6.4. So here we got 6.4 is that preliminary print. 6.5 is what actually came in. Oh, oops, my bad. Let me just double check that right there. So 6.4 is the preliminary print. That's right there. 6.4 is actually what we got. So let's write that down right there, 6.4%. That is a 1.5% difference. That's pretty big, you guys. And you know what? Just for kickers, let's look at this one too. So advanced estimate was calling for 4. GDP nowcast calling for 7.2. So here we got the advanced estimate. We got 4.3 was the final print. Oh boy, you guys. Oh boy, oh boy. Look at that. That is a massive, massive difference. That is like a 2.9% difference. That's highly material, you guys. Like, I would not trust this. You know what? Let's just do one more. Let's just do one more. Why not? Why not? One more. Oh boy, this one's a big one. Yeah, this is going back to September. So GDP nowcast was calling for 37. Advanced estimate 33.1. So let's see, 33.1. 33.4 was the final print. And what do you know? Pretty inaccurate. But you know what? Just given how big this number is, I want to say it's that inaccurate here, but as you guys can see from these prior numbers, very inaccurate. Very, very inaccurate. So, you know what? These YouTubers, they're pretty much feeding you guys FUD. You know, they're not telling you all of the story. But you know what? I'm telling you all of the story right here. And we might actually be in a recession, but you know, it might not be negative 2.1%. You know, maybe it's like negative 0.2%. Maybe it's negative 0.6%. Maybe it's like zero point 0.1. Maybe it's 0.2. Honestly, we don't know. But as you guys can tell, what we do know is that this advanced estimate that comes from the BEA is pretty damn accurate. You know, it's pretty damn accurate. So when are we going to get this data? It's going to come out on July 28th. Now you better have that date marked on your calendar, because that is when you're going to see all the headlines hit. It's either going to say we are in a recession, or it's going to say, whew, we avoided a recession. So it's going to be one of those two things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and you know what? Definitely leave a thumbs up, you know, comment or subscribe. Let me know what you thought about this video, and have a great day.